Well, you know, I don't know if I look better with shorter hair or I look cooler in that video. I still think that looks pretty funky. I wonder if it's wearing thin and I have to do something new. Anyway, let's have a quick look. We have Kate. We're very low tonight. We're very Kate. Perhaps we're being abandoned, Kate. But, we do believe the phone system's working. So, you know. And, just to make it a bit different this week, I brought Revo along. Look, here she is. Revo.
Hello. Hi, Kate. Anyone else who may be lurking? Hello.
Yes. No lurkers so far. No lurkers so far. So, we'll have to see how we get on. And, I don't know. We'll see if the phone system works. But, Kate, as always, we're very pleased that you're here.
Absolutely.
Right, let's get rid of her for a minute. Yeah, enough about that. So, love. Love. Where do I start? Oh, look. So, I'm trying to steer clear for the first 30 minutes of the spiritual sense of this. See, it's quite handy having a vicar wife because she can, like, fill in all the gaps I'm rubbish at in the second part of the programme. But, yeah. What is it that we love? What do we love? She's in my ear. She's not live, but she's prompting me with words. Yeah. Two types, conditional and unconditional. Let's see what this is. Let's bring this in. Two types of love, conditional and unconditional. There's about 1 million types of love, actually. Love Actually, that's a film, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Go on, all I can hear is Revo on my ear. Let's bring her in. Right. She's two types of love. Let's start off a little bit more simpler than that. What do I love? I love fajitas. What do you love?
Chocolate.
Is that it?
No, there's all the things that I love. Cake.
Chocolate. Fajitas. Dilly
Yeah,
dog.
Yeah. Not to eat though.
No,
I thought we were on food then.
No, but this is it. This is it, isn't it? This is the transition between these different kinds of love. So I love for food. What is it you love mostly, Kate? Your wife. You love my wife? I think you mean that I love my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's another kind of love as well. It's more tolerance rather than anything else, if I'm honest. That's not true. That's not... couch.
Yeah.
I'm on the couch tonight. I can sense that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love the sea.
You love the sea? Yeah, I like the sea and the coast. You like holidays as well,
Holidays, yeah. I'm going to say, yes, I've just been to Lanzarote for a few days. So,
Here we
yeah.
go. This is what Kate loves.
Kate loves the books. Yeah, that's a good thing to love.
Yeah. So you've got an avid reader. So again, I'm ticking off some things on my little list. So hobbies. So would you say reading books is a hobby? I don't think it is it? Reading books is like
Well, sort of.
Well, it depends, innit? It depends what you're reading. If you're reading fiction or because books are a source of information, aren't they? So it's educational in some sense.
Yeah.
So you could say that it's both. You could read it for fun, if it's fiction stuff, and enjoyment or entertainment. So like films, same thing. Well, it's not the same, but it's same in the sense that you might love reading books or love watching movies. Let's have a look. Let's got another one here. Recently started loving my knitting.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we find that we love things we're more successful at?
Oh, definitely. Yes, yeah.
See, there's nothing I love that I'm rubbish at. You ever notice that? Is that
No.
I'm really rubbish at that, so I don't like it.
No. Yeah, I love walking dilly as well. I love going for hill walking. Not that I do that very often.
Well, I don't really get a chance around here, do you?
No. Don't think what else I love. I love baking as well. I like making cakes.
Yeah, but you don't do it very often, though, do you?
No, just when I've got time.
So you can overcook it as well, couldn't you? If you did everything you loved all the time, you get bored of it, can't you?
Yeah.
See, I love streaming. And I don't mean me being on telly, right, on stuff. I love doing this stuff. So, and Kate, you're the only person here. So anyway, I'm thinking if you want to, and you want to join in this chat, you can call up and speak to both of us simultaneously. Yeah, and we can try and do that if you feel up to calling in. If not, we'll just carry on with the chat.
Yeah. Do either way, yeah.
We're missing a few this week, aren't we? So, yeah, we're going to have to do something about promoting this gig.
We are really, because I think we need more people here, don't we? To make it, I suppose the more people there are. Oh, here she is.
Well, unless somebody else has just rung in.
Let's find out.
Let me answer.
The suspense.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, Kate.
Right, hello, Kate. Let me bring you in.
Good. We'll have a proper chat
And
now.
we have Kate.
Yay, and then there were 3.
Look at that.
It's like the Trinity. We're okay. There's 3 of us.
You'll have to mute your other device, Kate, because we're
I'm
coming
going to just a minute. I've got to put my glasses on.
Put your glasses on.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find my glasses. There you go.
Right. So there you go. We can have a chat.
Yeah.
And we can have... Look, the phone system works. And
That's typical, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know when there's not as many people here, but okay.
Hey, you never know. We might get some latecomers.
We might do.
So, go on, Kate. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad. And you're loving knitting and you love your books.
Yeah.
But you don't love stuff you rubbish at, do you?
Well, I'm not great at knitting, but I'm really enjoying trying.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Good.
Is that because you can sense some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Progression. Are you getting better?
With the knitting, yes, not with the crocheting.
Sorry?
I am with the knitting, but not with the crocheting, but I'm still trying.
But then you did put up recently I started loving my knitting. You did put up recently I started loving my crocheting. So I'm guessing it is the same, isn't it? You know, some people like... See, there's certain things I do well.
Crochet and knitting is not the same.
Sorry?
Crochet and knitting is not the same.
No, it's not. You're right. Not that I know, because I don't know such things.
I suppose you can love things that you're not very good at if you just enjoy doing them anyway. Like I like going bowling. Not that we do it very. I haven't done it in ages.
Really? I never knew that.
I used to like going bowling with the kids, but I was never very good at it. It's just good fun. What?
What did you say, Kate?
I said the shock on your face when she said that.
Yeah. Like 10-pin bowling. I wasn't very good at it. It's just a good fun. But it's just good fun to be with the kids or other people and do it. Do you see what I mean?
I never knew that.
Did you not?
We've been married about 8 million years.
Yeah.
And I never knew you liked 10-pin bowling.
Well, there you go. We've never been, have we?
Should we go 10-pin bowling?
Yeah, why not?
Are you really competitive?
No.
No, I know you're not.
Not good enough to be competitive.
Okay. Do you like bowling, Kate? When was the last time you went bowling?
No, the last time I went bowling, they wouldn't let me on.
Really? Why? Were you drunk or something? What?
No, because I asked for a pair of shoes that had stiletto heels, because at the time I could only walk in stiletto heels, and they asked me to leave.
You were in stilettos trying to get on a bowling... Yeah, all right, yeah, I'm not surprised.
No, I asked them if they'd got a pair of proper bowling shoes that got stiletto heels, because that's all I could wear at the time.
Oh.
That's the only way I could... So they asked me to leave, because the only other way I could do it was to actually go on tiptoe.
All right.
Oh. Yeah, because they're always those flat shoes, aren't they?
Yeah, and I couldn't... At that point, I couldn't walk in flat shoes. I fell over every time I tried to walk in flat shoes.
Oh, no.
Really?
Because I'd spent most of my life in stilettos, so I didn't know how to walk in flat shoes.
That's weird. How did you get... How you wake up in the morning and go to the bathroom? Did you have to put stilettos on to walk?
No, ballet style.
What's she say?
I don't know. I didn't
I
quite
said
hear.
tiptoe, ballet style.
Oh, tiptoe.
Ah,
You can go up on your toes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That must really knacker your legs.
Probably why my legs are so bad now.
Oh, okay. It must be good, you know. Because when you look at a woman, like, and you see her heels up like that, you think, that must hurt. Anyway, so the last time you went bowling, you needed a pair of bowling shoes that had stilettos on them, and they asked you to leave. And I'm not surprised. So there you go. So I'm going to have to set up a date angel where we go bowling.
Yeah?
Is there a bowling alley around here?
Do you want a New Brighton?
No way. Oh, okay. We won't have to do that. Actually, I've got a really dodgy shoulder at the minute.
Excuses. But yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so go on.
That's another thing. What else do we love?
Oh, where's my little document gone? So, yeah, Kate loves reading and knitting. Yeah. You love chocolate and travel.
Yeah.
I love streaming and fajitas. Actually, I only love fajitas.
I like cake as well.
And you like cake. I only love fajitas, actually, again, when I made them the other week. And we looked at each other and did that, that sort of recognising kind of agreeing nod. Do you know when you're eating cake and you just like look at one another with a big grin and just nod? It's that affirmation that what you're eating is really enjoyable. It doesn't need any words. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the... I'm about 6 seconds behind, I think, on the phone system, so you'll probably see me nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can lip read you as well, can't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's very good.
But I think, I was saying to Alex before, I think, because the trouble in our language, isn't it? I think in other languages they have all these different words for love. We got one, so it's the same one that you love eating Smarties, as same as like you love the person that you love most in the world, isn't it? It's the same word, so that's what makes it confusing, isn't it?
So,
Yeah, it's very, very confusing because, as you say, you love a thing, but you love a person.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose, we're covering that now. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Inuits had like 47 words for snow. Is it a similar sort of thing? Is that what you mean? So love is, so there's a love for food, a love for your dog, a love for the sea, a love for a person, a love for your brother, your sister, your parents, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Sorry, yawning on screen.
Hey.
Had a long day.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't even. Do you know what I loved about that? You didn't even try to hide that or cover it with your hand. Yeah. Well, there you go. So you forget, don't you? Sometimes I'm on the telly type thing. Yeah. So
Well, it's just us, and we're fine with it, so don't worry about it.
yeah. So you could be on Zoom now and not know about it. This is exactly how you look, but you're not. You're actually on YouTube, being watched by
millions.
One. By one. This is a poor turnout today. Kate, we're going to have to talk about this as directors. What we're going to do about this.
We are indeed.
Yeah. So, all right. So.
Well, I was intrigued to see Vicky's reply about your Sunday eating on UBC.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued by that.
Yeah. We'll have to. Yes, that's right. But.
What was that?
Well, we can't talk about stuff like that now, can we? Because we need to talk about...
No, it's not about that. But
right, okay.
But again, it's a love to find out what it's all about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've gone off piece there, haven't we?
We have gone a bit. Let's remember that people might watch us on catch-up, so we're supposed to be talking about love, aren't we?
Right, well, okay. So that's a segue in some way. So, all right. So when it comes to, I suppose, in a secular world, which is what the first half of the show's about, is there's a lot of superficial and material things that we love, isn't it? And I suppose from my thoughts, it's about what the things that you do or the things that happen to you in that love sense that make your life more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's a self thing, isn't it? I suppose that's what I'm thinking with love in a secular realm, is I love, well, maybe
It's about passions. Well, if it's not about people, because taking people out of the equation, because I think there's a big divide. We start talking about people we love, but if you're talking about hobbies and things, you know, loving the sea and, you know, loving being out in the open air and this sort of thing, it's about passions, isn't it? It's about what
I don't know, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is that why? So even when you think about people and pets, do you love people because this is a tricky question, but do you love people because of what they mean to you, or do you love people because of? Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to sort of try and explain. So
That's why I said conditional and unconditional.
Yeah.
Because whether it be a thing, I mean, I'll give you an example. When I was first getting married, looking for dresses, I remember saying, "Oh, I love that, but there's the condition. But I could do something different with it. I could," and it's the same for people. You sometimes you say, "Oh, I love you," but you want to mould them into something else. So there's conditions attached to it.
Yeah.
Whereas unconditional, you just go, "Yeah, love that," or "Yeah, love you."
Yeah.
Warts and all, no problem.
But I think the unconditional stuff probably strikes in the latter half of this hour, in the sense of when we do that. But I think when I'm trying to sort of look at it, you know, I don't know, what's the world like? Is the world often conditional? Is it often unconditional in the secular sense? I think, don't get me wrong, I think there are people that genuinely love one another and have amazing relationships and, you know, bring families together and stuff. I also think there's elements of, you know, perhaps the conditional side that has snuck into society in a slightly more bolder way of late. You know, I suppose, I don't know. Is that maybe that's always been the way? For certain people have. I mean, you go back in time. Go back into time when you had kings and queens, and people were married. It wasn't like for love.
No.
It was about kind of bringing families together over countries, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And when you think about love, especially like with arranged marriages, which I kind of strangely have a bit of a positive sense on. You're still tired, aren't you, River?
I'll stop yawning. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm just tired.
Go like that. Put your hand over your mouth.
Then Kate will still know that I'm
Well, everyone.
yawning.
We've
Everyone.
Got a new.
If you hadn't have drawn attention to the fact, I wouldn't have noticed.
I know. He's just making me feel bad.
Discreetly, I hadn't noticed.
So discreet.
He's just making me feel bad, Kate.
Yeah.
Did you say we had another viewer?
Yeah. Someone else has snuck in. Don't know if they're going to say anything.
Hello, whoever you are. You're very welcome.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't forget, it could very well be Jacqueline, but because she hasn't learnt how to put her name up yet, has she?
Oh, we've had 2 likes, and that viewer's disappeared again. Oh no, they're back again.
Hey.
Anyway, so right, so
Well, whoever it is, and if it's
whatever.
Jacqueline, it's lovely to have you here. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so there's kind of like this sense of with the arranged marriage stuff, which I always thought years and years and years and years ago that that's just awful. People should get married for love, and I actually often think that people get married for a lot of the wrong reasons. Because it's not love; it's more lust or that sort of stuff, or not really understanding what each other are about and that sort of thing. And actually taking the more mature approach of who's good for each other, that sort of stuff. I kind of thought was pretty good, but I suppose going back to medieval times and stuff, excuse me, when people were getting married to for power, So there's a lot of conditional stuff that's always threaded through society, I think, or through history, as to why people. And I'm not suggesting that people haven't fallen in love because of that. So I mean, look at our think of Queen Victoria. Did she marry Albert because she loved him, or was there more of a strategic reason for that? Because she actually adored him.
Yeah, she did.
Didn't she?
Well, I thought she did. I mean, before they married, I mean.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
I don't know. I suppose anyone who's a Victoria or Victorian historian probably could enlighten us a bit more on that. But you do sort of wonder, but people do fall in love. They fall in love with each other, don't they? And that's more the unconditional stuff, I think.
Yeah, well, and with parent stuff is like that as well, isn't it? If you have children, there's this sort of, you know, you love them whatever, don't you? because they're your
Yeah.
children, aren't they? So
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
a bit like your family, innit? Although you do have family feuds, and I'm not talking. I mean, inner family feuds as well
Yeah.
as family feuds, but you know, and I think the other weird thing about families and stuff. I mean, you can't get to pick them. So is that a love, or is it just an acknowledgement that you're my brother, my sister, my parent? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we've got a somebody said good evening.
Yeah, I know. I could see
We haven't
it.
got a name.
Yes, I think that might be Jacqueline.
Hello,
Yeah.
Jacqueline.
We think that's you, Jacqueline. We think that's you, but it doesn't have a name next
Could
to
you
it.
type yes if it's you, Jacqueline, to let us know?
Because we'd love to know if it is you.
And if not, whoever you are, please, it'd be lovely to know who you are.
Give us a first initial or something. That'd be cool. Yeah.
We can guess him.
Because I think you've been here a few weeks, and it's quite nice that we could refer to you as J or T
A mystery
or
guest.
whatever. Mystery guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. Oh, we've got somebody else joined as well.
Ooh,
Exciting.
excellent. Hotting up now.
Hotting up. Maybe,
It's getting exciting now.
It is.
maybe everyone's just been really mad busy this week, and
Yeah,
you know,
they
they're
had
joining
to
late.
join late. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
So yeah, I think and the other thing about families and stuff, you can love people. It doesn't mean you necessarily like them, do you?
No, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Can you love someone that you don't like?
Yeah, that's a difficult question
Yeah.
because I think
I think you can in a family, definitely.
But you don't do that. Well, no, maybe you do. I think people do end up loving people, but don't like them.
Yeah,
This is really difficult because
it is Vicky. It is Jacqueline. She says she's just trying to get on with her iPad.
yes, it is her.
Hey, hi, Jacqueline. I'm really pleased.
Jacqueline, yeah, still trying to get grips on my new iPad. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you with us. It's
Yes.
great.
So if we're gonna refer to you as Jacqueline because we know it's Jacqueline. We're so pleased. We haven't spoken to Jacqueline in forever since the transition over to YouTube, which was about 1 million years ago. So I'm so pleased, Jacqueline, that you managed to get here
Yeah.
and be part of our chats. So if you've only just turned up, we're talking about love. And in the first half of the programme, we talk about more the secular side, and then the second half, we talk about the spiritual.
Yeah.
Elaine's joining me tonight as a bit of a let's see how it goes. And if it works out, then maybe we'll have Elaine on a bit more and we'll kind of share what the faith. And we've got Kate on the phone because the phone system's working for
Yay.
once. Hey!
We'll be talking about loving chocolate and the sea and
Yeah.
all the things that we
And now,
can love.
and now we're just asking the question, is it possible to not like someone you love?
Well, I think it is because sometimes, especially in families, I think it applies because you don't choose what family you're born into, do you? But you often still love people, don't you? But even if they're not the sort of personality that you normally like. Do you see what I mean? I think that can happen in families.
Definitely can.
Jones here.
Oh, Jones here.
Can
Hi,
you love
Joan.
somebody but not like what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
See, the way I was going with this is I was thinking is that...
So I don't like
want
it when
people
Alex
hang
tells
up in
me how
case
to load the
anybody else wants to
dishwasher
ring in.
or how to pull the curtains.
Well, I don't like the way she pulls the curtains or loads the dishwasher.
So I love Alex. Don't like him telling me how to pull the curtains.
I'm going to go a bit dark here
Yeah.
because I think there are people in relationships
Do you
who are in
want
very
me to say
toxic
goodbye so
relationships
that somebody else might be able to
who
ring
love
in?
their partner.
Yeah.
And they know it's bad, but there's still something about them, warts and all. I mean, that's the thing is you can love. See, I love Elaine regardless of how poor she is at pulling the curtains, making the bed, or loading the dishwasher. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
I know what you mean, though. Yes, it's yes. I think you can love someone not like what they do, because
Well,
no matter how much, because it's the same with children, isn't it? If you're as a parent, you love your kids, but you're not necessarily like the things that they do all the time. It's just part of life, isn't it? Really.
yeah, like I suppose for me, like the back of me dad, and there are serious elements of him I didn't like. But I think this is when we start making allowances for one another in the sense that we hang on. What's that say? No, Kate, because I'm eating crumpets. Are you sending messages to one another?
No,
Is that a cryptic message? I don't know what that means.
I think you're messaging one another and then sending it. Right, okay, we're part of your. Okay.
I said, would you
Right,
like
okay,
me
let's
to
go back
hang
to that.
up
Right.
so somebody else could ring in?
Yeah, but there's kind of an acceptance, and I think this does
He's
actually
not
lead to our
listening. Have you
spirituality
forgotten?
side, because God loves us whatever we do, and this is unconditional, and the sense that there's nothing I can do that will make God love me less. You know, we've clipped exactly half past, but I'm just going to say that there is that element of, like, if I think of my old man, for example, and for all of his failings, he was still my dad. So there's the element there where, you know, the kind of family love. And I suppose there's almost like a desire that you just wish things would be different, because you kind of, I suppose it's not a case of resenting, although you probably do and can't help it. It's you just would wish something would change, or things that something could get better, or someone could deal with their inner demons, or someone could deal with the problems in their life. Now, that's not to say... You still there, Kate?
Yeah, I thought you'd forgotten me, sorry.
Has she gone?
Oh, no.
No,
I'm getting
here.
some audio, but I can't hear it. Why can't I hear it? Kate is still there, but I can't hear it.
Oh.
Hang on. Talk to me, Kate, a sec.
Right, I said...
Yeah, so she's still coming through on that. I wonder if I can send that out to headphones. Everyone else can hear her. So, talk to me, Kate.
Alex.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you now.
I can hear you.
That comment from Joan, I've just sent you a message saying, I said, would you like me to hang up so somebody else can phone in? And Joan said, no, I'm eating crumpets, Kate.
We missed that. You see, we couldn't hear you. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Joan heard it.
I see.
Right. So what we've set up now is I've got the audio coming into vMix and then into our, because normally I muted that. Yeah. So I could mute her, but then I wouldn't be out here on the board. So it has partly failed, but I've figured out a way of staying with you. Right. Okay. Let's get rid of. Yeah. Let's go back to that. Oh,
when
I
we
see.
found out it was Jacqueline, and then Joan came, I said, would you like me to hang up so that somebody else can phone in?
Yeah,
and that's when Joan said, no, I'm eating my crumpet.
Right. So you did go a bit quiet, so I'll figure out some of this.
Well, I thought you just muted me and didn't
No. It's not. No, it's not you. It's the system again, still failing.
That's okay. That was fine. I could hear you fine, so that's not a problem.
Anyway, no, stay there a sec. And yeah, because I think if I try and ask Joan to phone in anyway, even though she's eating crumpets.
She's eating crumpets.
No, I want some crumpets now. Yeah, are they homemade, Joan? Are they shop bought? Or...
Does Joan love crumpets? That's the question.
Yeah.
She must. I love crumpets, actually, along with many other sweet things.
I've got into fruit loaf at the minute, you know, the ones you can toast. Nice.
On the subject of whether or not you can love somebody but hate what they do, I mean, that's when I was muted or whatever, and I did say, definitely family-wise you can.
Yeah.
Because I have a sister who I love to bits, but I cannot stand her negative whinging all the time. But I have to accept that's what she is. She's a constant negative whinger. But I love her to bits.
Yeah. No, it's perfectly possible, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And even, you know, it's the same with friendships, because even the best friends or whatever, there's still things that they do that you think, oh, wish they wouldn't do that, you know, or, you know, there are things you don't like, aren't there, about everybody, because we're all so different, aren't we? There's bound to be things that annoy us about each other. So I think that's quite natural, isn't it, to not like something people do, even if you love them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just tuning over in my head this audio and how it's working.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't matter.
Well, you can see the cogs going round and round.
Yeah, it's just like, what's he doing? He's like,
Joan's finished her crumpets.
Sorry, I finished them. They were Warburtons, and yes, I like them for supper. With lashings of salted butter.
Yes.
So much that you have to hold the plate underneath. Otherwise it'll dribble down the front. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Have you ever tried crumpets with marmite on?
No.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes, let's talk about love.
Okay, let's talk about love. So go on then. Can I give you a spiritual piece of text?
Yes.
1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 8. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoings, but rejoices with the truth. Eh?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Rejoices with the truth.
Love is patient and kind.
That was exactly what came to my mind today when I was thinking about love and the purity of love.
Yeah. That's like the sort of ideal of love, isn't it?
That is love in its purest sense.
Yeah. That you don't get... read it again. Is it not about...
So
It's not boastful, it's not arrogant.
Love is patient and kind, doesn't envy or boast, it's not
Yeah.
arrogant or rude, it doesn't insist on its own way, it's not irritable or resentful, and it does not rejoice at wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth.
Yeah. So, like Kate says, I think that's right. It's like a pure sort of love, isn't it? Because it's what we might all aspire to be. Never irritable or resentful or all those sorts of things that we all do.
So does that mean I don't love you then, Elaine? Or you don't love me? Because neither of us are particularly patient. I think we're fairly kind. Envy or boast? Don't know about that. I'm arrogant and rude. Yeah. It doesn't insist on its own way, well you do, so that means, yeah. So I'm arrogant and rude, you insist on your own way. Irritable, that's you. Resentful,
Really?
that's me. It doesn't rejoice in wrongdoings. Yeah, I beat her. And rejoices in the truth, yeah. You know what I mean, though? And I'm being kind of flippant because I think one of the interesting comments is Jones just sent, which is, but we're all fragile clay jars.
We are indeed, yes, yeah.
And that's why I made that comment, because I saw the comment from Joan. And that's a very valid point, because the idealistic, I think, from Corinthians there is that if all of that's true, we can never be that.
Not all the time, no, but we can. I suppose if we talk, well, no.
We can't, but that's what we get from God.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the example Jesus gave us, isn't it? And you know, and that's what we aspire to, and could only possibly aspire to, even with His help. So, isn't it? Because like Joan says, we're fragile clay jars. We're all broken human beings, aren't we? And we've all got these tendencies to do the opposite of love on a regular basis. And yeah, so it's something that we always have to, I suppose, think about. Because it's hard, isn't it? I think with that love thing. I mean, with some people, it's easy to love. I think that's in the Bible, isn't it, as well, about love. It's easy to love those that you love, isn't it? But actually, there are people that you find really hard to be with, aren't there? Or that you sort of dislike, or just don't get on with. Or even people who are not nice to you. Do you know what I mean? People you whatever you'd call enemies, whatever.
Well, this is where I think the flip in the half-hour clip anyway is that when we talk about the things we love, they're personally something that we get a joy from. And I mean, you make me happy, all right? And I suppose I suppose occasionally I kind of make you happy, I suppose, but. And that's what I'm saying about what is it? Is it a personal thing for us? Is it something else? And I think the key thing, and you just sort of mentioned a little bit about that then, is in the spiritual sense is that we're supposed to love our enemies. We're supposed to love those things like, I suppose in some sense I probably did when it came to my dad. And Kate's given a bit of an example about her sister. Because perhaps she has a slightly more pessimistic view or whatever on the world and blah, blah, blah. But she loves her sister because it's her sister, And I think that with this 1 Corinthians 13 is very much the key thing from that is this is the idealistic sense of what love is. And in the sense that this is what Christ-like is being. And in the sense of saying if we're trying to be Christ-like, which I guess we are always trying to do and failing at miserably most of the time. This is one of the examples of actually what that looks like in a practical sense. When it says, how do we practically be like Jesus? And you say, well, we're patient, we're kind, we don't envy, we don't boast, we're not arrogant, we're not rude, we don't insist on our own way, we are not irritable or resentful, and we don't rejoice in wrongdoing.
Of course, we can recognise that from every Christian we know and every church.
Well, no, absolutely. But I suppose it's a measure, isn't it? And I suppose that's one of the great things about biblical teaching. Is that, which is why the Bible's such a great book, because it's not just, it's the Word of God, if you will. It's a manual for life. So it tells you how it is that we're supposed to be in all the best possible ways, and you can read that, and you can read that in the sense of, that's just kind of like an instruction, but it's not that. You can read that, and you could sense when you look at it in that way and say, absolutely, I know that is the right way. It's the right way.
But I think. Well, it shows...
Oh, hang on. Go on. Give us your response. Then I'm going to bring in a comment from Jane.
No, just saying it shows us the right way, but it's only through what faith does, I think, knowing Jesus is show us. He's the example, but he's also the one to help us. So it makes us think to try and attain it, isn't it? So when there are people that you find hard to love, isn't it? It's him you can go to, isn't it, in prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, to say, how do I deal with this, or help me to deal with this, or whatever. How do I show love in this situation? Or
I mean, what I suppose what I'm alluding to is that on the basis of having a sense of belief in the first place, then you're trying to live your Christian life, right? So we're all different as Christians. Some pray, some don't. Some people go to church, some people don't. And on the regardless of the basis of their belief. But what I'm saying is that when you look at Scripture, it's not just a simplistic, this is God, this is Jesus, this is what happened. This is God, this is Jesus, this is what happened, plus everything else, which kind of is there to help and spell out what it is to be a Christian, and those things that go alongside it. Let me just bring this in, because I think this is quite important, right? So Jane says, I often think of people being like radiators or drains.
Ah, okay.
Now, go on then. What do you think of that, Revo?
I'm just thinking about what it means.
Kate,
yeah?
you still there?
Is that in the sense of...
No, I think we've lost her completely now.
Okay.
Yeah, you've gone completely now, Kate. You're not even coming through on VMix, so we'll drop you as a call. You'll have to go back to chat. But that was fun whilst it lasted, wasn't it?
So radiators are about warmth, aren't they?
So someone that shares heat and
or gives out love. So gives out love as a radiator would. A drain is something that
draws it from you.
I suppose so. Yeah. Yeah. Is that what you meant, Joan? Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose a drain is like a drain on your life, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. People maybe just take and don't give out, and other people give out love, don't they? Yeah. Maybe that's what you mean, Joan. Yeah. I'll wait for Joan to come back to us. But yeah. But people are, I suppose people are different, aren't they? Some people are obviously more loving than others, aren't they? But I think in any given circumstance, we can all be the opposite of what we think what we're meant to be, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think
I'm just to grab you on that comment. More people, she's agreeing with
that.
So let's just bring that up. So I think just grabbing that, more people. Some people are more loving than others. Absolutely. I think that, but I think that's part of the nature of how people project themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and I know for one who's no longer with us. We lost him last year. Who did incredible things for people. To tip off to Trevor. Obviously, I'm talking about Trevor there. Kate did wonderful things, and he showed a huge amount of love for people. And probably just as well she got off the phone before I mentioned that. But it's a classic example of people that do exceptional things through love and a lot of those things that are in that piece of scripture from Corinthians.
And I think that in a Christian way, serving others is a way of showing love, isn't it? As Trevor did so brilliantly, isn't it? It's one way that we show love. Christ's love is through serving others, because that's very biblical too, isn't it?
I think it depends on the sincerity behind it.
Yeah.
I suppose before I came to faith, I was kind of had this notion that what I did because that was who I was. And I saw Christians as what they did was because it was a passport stamp to say, look, I've done all these things written down in biblical texts such as this. Therefore, my passport's been stamped. Yay, access to eternity. And I kind of thought, shouldn't you do that anyway? And I think there is this kind of humanistic thing. Like I said, you look at that thing in Corinthians and you think, you should be that anyway. It's the very nature of how we've been formed, I believe. You know when you're doing wrong things. Do you know what I mean? You know when you're being unethical, you're being immoral. You know, all of these things that we deny or whatever, we know deep down when we're doing stuff that, do you know what? That isn't right. It's not right. I know there's going to be some grey areas in that, for sure. There's going to be some grey areas, but fundamentally, the core elements of what it is to exist, we know. We do know. You know. So let me move on to this next passage. Trevor just loved to help everyone.
Yeah.
He's a star.
So
this one's from John 13. Okay. Throughout his earthly ministry, Jesus showed his love for others and by blessing and serving the poor, the sick, and the distressed. He told his disciples, "This is my commandment, that you should love one another as I have loved you."
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's another sort of affirmation of the same thing that we're talking about how rubbish we all are.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not. When I say we're rubbish, I don't mean that. It's just an expectation that's so high. It's very difficult for us to live up to, but we should never ever stop trying.
No.
Because we're all flawed. We're always going to make mistakes. Absolutely.
And I think as Christians as well, that sort of, when people know we're Christians, or do you know, that's why the church often gets a bad name, doesn't it? Because people know that they've fallen out, churches where people are falling out, and obviously there's all this horrible stuff about historic abuse and things. But you know, wherever you see things about Christians falling out, then it's almost like people maybe I'm wrong, but I think that people often expect to see or looking to see something different about Christians and better, because really, it should be, shouldn't it, that people can see that we are showing better love for each other, or a different sort of love to each other than the world has. But you often don't see it, do you? Because it's so hard, isn't it? And
I think you've hit an interesting point, because fundamentally the difference between me and the bloke next door is nothing. Yeah, I might have a faith and he may not, but fundamentally we're still, we're still made from the same ingredients that God made us by, and we still have the same failings. I think you're right. You're presenting the argument that, in some sense, on the basis of our faith, we should know better. That is true.
We're not knowing better, it's being better.
Well, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. I suppose we should be better because of that, but we're still human, so we still fail. And I think that's the point, that although you might see controversial things that happen in the world and controversial things that happen in the church, it doesn't make any difference. The controversy exists throughout our entire lives as human beings. But there is that notion that we're put on a pedestal as people of faith, that therefore we should do better. Yeah, we should know better. Yeah, but I don't think that's... I think that there's...
Well, we do, yeah, but then there is something about, I think, well, it shows, and I know we've maybe talked about things like this before. Things that stand out are like things where you hear of Christian people forgiving people for terrible things they've done.
Yeah.
That's you've talked about it before, haven't we? But that's like an example of what I think it meant by loving others as Christ has loved us, isn't it? It's that sort of sacrificial love, isn't it? And that thing that sort of defies what, your natural feelings, isn't it, really? It's sort of with the help of the Holy Spirit, with the help of Jesus, people can do these amazing things.
Do you think there's anyone who's not had faith who's managed to forgive someone who's done something as bad as that?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
And it is a point from Kate.
Yes.
So, sometimes the hardest one to love is yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another worthy thing, isn't it? We talked about this, was it last week? I'm not worthy. And
that's right. Except it's a hard one, this, isn't it? Because, no, I suppose none of us are worthy, are we? And yet, we're made by God. So we're fearfully and wonderfully made. So we have to believe that and know that, and that we're loved because of what Jesus has done for us, that we're loved amazingly, isn't it? And it's hard, isn't it, as you say, to sometimes reconcile that or feel that, isn't it? That we are, because we're created by God, so we're precious creations, aren't we?
But like I said at the time, when I kind of tried to recognise that, I kind of thought, this is me personally, because this isn't to have a pop at anyone else. And, it was, if I don't have a sense of worth, then it kind of just devalues what Jesus did for me. And that to me goes, ooh, that's actually really deep. Yeah, I can't do that, because actually I'm thinking, no, that's wrong.
He said, but I died for you.
Yeah, and I'm going like, ooh, yeah, you did, didn't you? I better have a bit more value for myself. It's kind of weird way my head loops the loop sometimes. But yeah, I mean, just going back to that the continued thing about our human weakness, and God knows it.
Yeah.
God knows it, and we should know it as well.
He still loves us.
Yeah, but we should know it as well, and I think that's the point I'm going to aim to finish on, is we see, so again, it's a nice, interesting one just to use my father because, whatever, he's no longer with us, but I suppose the point is that I don't forgive him because of my faith. I forgive him because it was not malice. It was never intentional. And I think 99% of people don't do things in the way that we often see in an evil sense. Some people do, right? And the example is, and the super kind of forgiveness thing comes from that guy standing up in court and forgiving the bloke who killed his daughter. That's incredible. And I said that at the time a few weeks back. But for me, it was... For me, it's about recognising why people do what they do. It's about recognising the... what's the word I'm seeking? I'm rubbish at this stuff. The failings of mankind. What is it? What's the word? It's not infallible? No.
What, infallibility?
Yeah, is that it? So our own infallibility.
We're all infallible.
Yeah, it's all our infallibilities, and we all have expectations. And some people, they're fantastic and can do stuff and whatever, and some people aren't. And that's the reality. And I suppose we measure ourselves a bit like that, don't we? Here's a nice one from Joan, actually. Also, if we cannot love ourselves, how can we love others? Well, I think often some people with very... let me add to that. Also, if we cannot love ourselves, how can we correctly love others? Because I think some people make up for the lack of their own self-respect by becoming over the top emotionally involved with other people. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? No?
Yeah. But I think that's not what Joan's saying, though, is it?
Well, no, that's what I've said. Is that if you're happy in yourself, you could be happy around other people. If you're not happy in yourself, you start to make you can become a bit possessive of people, because of that love. I've been in a position in the past where I've kind of been quite obsessed by a certain person, and I've also been in a position when someone was quite obsessed by me. And neither of those things worked out, and that's probably exactly the way it should have been. Because I think in my sense I wasn't in a particularly great place where I was, but I was infatuated by this person, and I suspect it was a similar thing in the other way. You can almost say it's like, how can you become a counsellor if you've got lots of issues and you can't counsel, you're not even good in your own counsel. I guess it's like that. Yes, and so become a drain. Yes, rather than a radiator.
Yes, because you have to know, you have to have something in yourself to know you love, don't you? I know exactly what you mean, Joan. Yeah.
But do you understand my connection there, though?
Yeah.
So exactly that is, you're draining on them rather than this this patient and kind, doesn't envy or boast, and doesn't, because all of that's at risk, isn't it? And maybe when I look at the things that in that context of 1 Corinthians 13, is that am I patient? Well, no, but why is it that I don't have patience? Maybe it's something about me that produces a lack of patience. Am I kind? I think I'm probably pretty much kind. Do I envy and boast? Not really. Am I arrogant and rude? Yeah, probably. Is that the ASD? Probably. That's probably what that comes from, I'd have thought. I don't think I'm intentionally trying to be arrogant or rude to people. It's not insist on my own way. Do I insist on my own way? Sometimes. I think I can do. Not get irritable or resentful. I get irritable probably because of everything that went before. Yeah. And
I think we all get irritable at times.
I don't rejoice in wrongdoings. I don't think I do that. And I do rejoice in the truth. So there's some elements of that I fail on, for sure. And I think it's those measures, so maybe partly my SD and partly my own kind of value of myself. And I suppose it's self-confidence as well, and we all suffer from that. And we all become a bit of a drain. A bit of a drain rather than a radiator. I like that.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
So, have you got anything else? We've got a couple of minutes, Robo, to finish up on, and I'll let you ride us out on prayer. Is there anything else that you want to add to the spiritual side from a love perspective?
Hang on, we've got another comment first.
Well, she's making up for not being here last week.
Reminds me of the fruits of the Spirit. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, the love, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. Yeah, I suppose it's linked, isn't it? Because the fruits of the Spirit are about, what happens when we have the Holy Spirit living in us, isn't it? And we listen to God, and we're close to God. Then those things come out of us, if you like, grow in us, because we can see God working in us or Jesus working in us. So it is linked, isn't it? Yeah, no, it is linked, isn't it? Because it's when we know how much He loves us and we listen to the Holy Spirit and we're close to Him, that He enables us to be different, isn't He? He does change us. I know He's changed me, definitely, to be more sort of thoughtful and prayerful about things that are really difficult with people. Do you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think about that in a practical sense. I'll try not to overrun too much. I'm thinking about this in a sense as if by definition you can forge that relationship with Jesus, ergo God, build up your self-confidence in who you are, in faith, that makes you really quite powerful. Not in a tyrannical sense, powerful in a sense of probably the comments regarding the fruits of the Spirit. You feel, is that a compelling sense? Is that a, 1 Corinthians, you develop a sense of patience, you develop kindness, you don't envy or boast. So is that why? So my head's going now. I just think this is important. But is that why, Elaine? Do you think that if confident in faith, what was I going to say? I suppose it can have, and it does have, a transformation on you as a person.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so.
Because I think there are people out there that are confident about themselves and show some of these things. Yeah. And there are people that have faith that aren't confident, that don't show some of these things. I think I'm always looking to try and find this bridge between people who have spirituality and faith in God and people who don't, and where it meets, because it gives an opportunity for those people who don't have faith to sort of try and understand about those people that do, how this sort of all works out. Anyway, let's leave that thought. Do you want to write us out on prayer, Elaine?
Yes, why not? Yes.
And we'll finish up and then catch up. What's next week's topic? Do you know off the top of your head?
No.
Right.
I can't remember. Sorry.
Okay.
We'll have to find out on Sunday.
Well, I was going to say, I've never announced it before, but as you were here, I thought you might remember. So
no.
we'll talk about
Sorry,
that.
I can't remember. I'll
But
have to have a look.
Jane and Kate. Kate, thanks for calling in. Sorry that the text all rubbish. We'll talk about this. I said this in an email actually to Joan. We're going to have to come up with a proper solution for this because I do think it's important that we do this. So I shall bid you goodbye, and I'm going to let Elaine just write us out on prayer. So see everyone next week.
Okay. So Heavenly Father, we thank you for this chance to talk together, to talk about love, the things that we love, and your love and our love for you, Lord. I just thank you for everyone who's been here tonight and all the comments and conversation, and we just hold them all to you for you to help our understanding, Lord, and just help us to love as you do. So just bless us all this week. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.